Chapter 2480. An outsider. It's someone from the outer world. The king of Fengming's heart jolted as he understood. There must be someone from the outer world who was valued by the important figures of the Dragonman Empire or working with them to enter the cursed land to obtain the treasures inside. Just like the cooperation between him and Lu Ming. Emissaries, I'm afraid you're a step too late. Someone has already entered the cursed land. The king of Fengming explained. Someone has entered. Who is it? What does he look like? A purple-haired member of the evil god tribe asked. He was a royal member of the evil god tribe. In fact, the number of foreign tribes who entered the Yellow Spring Mountain this time was quite large. That person's name is Lu Ming. The king of Fengming described Lu Ming's name and appearance. Lu Ming. It's Lu Ming. Oh, it's Lu Ming. Very good. The divine ancestor has ordered us to kill Lu Ming without mercy if we see him. The few foreign tribes spoke one after another. Their eyes gleamed coldly. You, bring us to the cursed land. Otherwise, Fengming Kingdom will be annihilated. One of the members of the evil god tribe said. Yes, yes. I'll bring you there now. Don't worry. The king of Fengming quickly nodded. He had no choice. The emissaries were sent by the Dragonman Empire. He did not dare to disobey them. The Dragonman Empire had powerhouses at the peak of the Void Transformation stage. As for those at the 4th level Void Transformation stage and above, there were many of them. He was the only 4th level Void Transformation stage powerhouse in Fengming Kingdom. If he disobeyed the Dragonman Empire, he would die. Lu Ming, don't blame me for being ruthless. You can only blame your bad luck for offending someone you shouldn't have. The king of Fengming said ferociously. Then, he led the emissaries of the other nations and the elites of the evil god tribe to the cursed land. Soon after, they arrived outside the cursed land. Is there any danger in the cursed land? The royal member of the evil god tribe asked. I don't know about that. The king of Fengming shook his head. He was not sure about this, as there was no record of it in the ancient records. Generally speaking, cursed lands are dangerous. I suggest that we stand guard outside and let Lu Ming take the risk and open up a path for us. It would be best if he dies in there. If he doesn't, and comes out with some good fortune, it'll be all for us. What do you think? A member of the evil god race asked. Good, this is very good. That Lu Ming obtained some opportunities and came out in high spirits. I wonder what kind of expression he will have when he discovers the Oriole behind him. Ha ha ha. Several members of the evil god tribe laughed heartily. Everyone, besides Lu Ming, there are some other people, and one of them is an expert at the 4th level of the Void Transformation stage. Why don't we do this? Monarch Fengming rolled his eyes and suggested a scheme. Good, ha ha ha. After the evil god race member heard this, he laughed heartily. Lu Ming was completely oblivious to what was happening in the outside world. He was fully focused on comprehending the Tao of the sovereign realm. In the blink of an eye, half a month passed, and Lu Ming felt that he had benefited greatly. Comprehending the Tao of the sovereign realm here for half a month was comparable to fumbling around outside for a few years. I'll go tell Heavenly Sovereign 6 Saints and the others that I'll probably need some more time to comprehend it. Lu Ming pondered. Although he did not obtain anything here, Lu Ming felt that there was nothing more useful than this statue. This was his fortuitous encounter. Lu Ming returned to the edge of the formation and found that Heavenly Sovereign 6 Saints and the others were still there. Lu Ming told them about the situation inside. Lu Ming, go ahead and cultivate. I'll wait for you here. While you're at it, go look around and search the other places, Heavenly Sovereign 6 Saints said. They hadn't finished searching this cursed land yet. While Lu Ming was in closed-door cultivation, they could do a thorough search. Thank you, Senior. Lu Ming nodded and returned to the statue to continue comprehending the Tao of the sovereign realm. Time passed quickly, and 3 months went by. Lu Ming's comprehension of the Tao of the sovereign realm had improved tremendously. Lu Ming felt that as long as he had enough resources, he would be able to break through and become a 4-star martial monarch. Lu Ming planned to find a place to break through after leaving this place. Unfortunately, the will of the sovereign realm in this statue is limited. I've already comprehended most of it, Lu Ming exclaimed. He felt that even if he continued to comprehend the Tao of the sovereign realm, he would not be able to improve much. Crack. Right at this moment, a crack suddenly appeared on the statue. The crack was thin at first, but it quickly grew longer and bigger. In the end, the cracks covered the statue like a spider web. Bang! In the end, the entire statue exploded and turned into ashes. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. What was going on? Would the statue collapse if he comprehended all the will of the sovereign realm in the statue? This was the only explanation that made sense. Otherwise, Lu Ming could not figure it out. That's... When the statue exploded, a strong aroma filled the air. Lu Ming discovered that there was a pit under the statue, and there was a plant in the pit. The plant was bare and had no leaves. There was only a trunk, and on the trunk hung a red fruit. The fruit was crystal clear, and there was a treasure light circulating around it. It emitted a rich medicinal fragrance. What fruit is this? It has such rich life essence. Lu Ming examined it carefully, but he did not recognize what this plant was. There were no records of this among the various spirit herbs, saint herbs, and emperor herbs that he had come into contact with. However, the life essence in this fruit was too rich. It was so rich that it was shocking. If I refine this fruit, I'm afraid my physical body will be able to make a breakthrough. A thought flashed across Lu Ming's mind. At the thought of this, his eyes burned with passion. If his physical body made a breakthrough and cultivated the seven gods' mysterious technique to the middle 6th level, he would be able to suppress an ordinary 4-star heavenly emperor with his physical strength alone. He would even be able to fight a 4th-level void transformation stage martial artist in the Yellow Spring Mountain. Coupled with the Tao of Ruler, his combat strength would skyrocket. Refine. Lu Ming made a prompt decision and walked over. He carefully observed it for a while, and there was no danger. Lu Ming uprooted the plant, plucked the fruit, and planted the root in his own little world. Lu Ming sat cross-legged, held the fruit, and observed it for a while. The fruit was the size of a fist, and boundless life essence constantly overflowed. Lu Ming gritted his teeth and swallowed the fruit in one mouthful. Boom! As soon as the fruit entered Lu Ming's body, it was like a volcanic eruption. Waves of blazing energy erupted and rushed into Lu Ming's limbs and bones. What shocking energy! Good, good, Lu Ming was not shocked but delighted. Now, his physical body was equivalent to the Heavenly Emperor stage. It was too difficult to break through. One had to know that once his physical body broke through, it would cross several levels. The energy required was too much, shockingly much. The more energy this fruit contained, the greater his chances of breaking through. Chapter 2483. Boom, boom, boom. The fiery red fruit, like a volcanic eruption, exploded in Lu Ming's body, turning into waves that surged into Lu Ming's limbs and bones. Lu Ming felt as if his body was wrapped in endless magma and was about to melt. Bursts of stinging pain spread throughout his body. The energy contained in this fiery red fruit was really amazing. Even with Lu Ming's current physical body, he could not bear it and was about to be torn apart. Indestructible ancient scripture, power of dominator. Lu Ming growled and operated the indestructible ancient scripture to heal his injuries. At the same time, he operated the path of dominator. The path of dominator was to dominate everything. Lu Ming tried to dominate these energies and thus control them. It worked. Under the path of dominator, these energies became much more docile. Then Lu Ming operated the seven gods' mysterious art. His muscles and bones vibrated 10 billion times per second to refine these energies. Whoosh! Streams of energy, like rivers, were used up in Lu Ming's body. With every vibration, endless energy was used up, refined, and seeped into Lu Ming's muscles and bones, strengthening Lu Ming's physical body. Lu Ming's physical body was improving rapidly. It was really fast, much faster than when he used the dragon marrow pool to cultivate in the lair of Zulong. The energy in the lair of Zulong, relatively speaking, was relatively mild. The energy of this fruit was extremely violent. Fortunately, it was Lu Ming. If it were someone else who swallowed the whole fruit, their body would have exploded and they would have died. But the violence brought about the rapid improvement of the physical body. Refine, refine, refine. Lu Ming refined with all his strength. Soon, a month had passed. Boom. Before the energy of the fruit was completely refined, Lu Ming's body vibrated as though thunder was roaring. He broke through. His physical body had broken through, and the seven gods' mysterious art had broken through to the middle of the 6th level. Now, Lu Ming was sufficient to suppress a 4-star heavenly emperor just by relying on the strength of his fleshy body. His combat power increased greatly. There was still some energy left in his body. Lu Ming continued to operate the seven gods' mysterious art to refine all the remaining energy. The remaining energy was naturally not enough for Lu Ming's body to continue breaking through, but it was enough to consolidate it. A few days later, Lu Ming finished refining all the energy and ended his cultivation. A smile appeared on Lu Ming's face. Lu Ming had already gained a lot from this trip to the Cursed Land. His mastery of the Tao of Sovereigns had deepened, his fleshly body had broken through, and his strength had increased tremendously. What could be better than this? Bang! Lu Ming took a step forward and walked back. Soon, Lu Ming arrived near the sword formation. There were only a few people on the other side of the sword formation. Lu Ming has come out. When those people saw Lu Ming, they smiled. Bang! Lu Ming took a big step forward and rushed into the sword formation. When Lu Ming rushed into the sword formation, the formation lit up again. Small sword chi appeared and rushed toward Lu Ming. This time, Lu Ming did not use the Tao of Sovereigns. He relied on his fleshly body and the indestructible ancient scripture to block the attack of the sword chi. Lu Ming rushed out 100 meters and then began to use the Tao of Sovereigns to control the sword chi and rush out of the sword formation. Everyone, where are the 6 saints and the others? Lu Ming asked. They're waiting for you outside, someone said. Lu Ming nodded and followed them out. Along the way, Lu Ming learned that they did not have any other gains in this cursed land. It was obvious that the cursed land had already been plundered by someone before the tribulation. After passing through the passage, they arrived at the huge stone room and saw the 6 saints, heavenly sovereign and the others. After chatting for a while, they walked out. After a while, they left the cursed land. From afar, they saw Monarch Fengming and some people waiting for them. Ha ha ha, Commander Lu, you're finally out. From afar, Monarch Fengming welcomed them with a smile. Monarch. Lu Ming cupped his fists. Commander Lu, how was your trip to the Cursed Land? Monarch Fengming asked with a smile. Sigh, Monarch, to be honest, we came back empty-handed this time. Lu Ming sighed. You came back empty-handed? Monarch Fengming's expression changed slightly. That's right. I'm afraid that someone has entered this cursed land before the myriad tribulation. If you don't believe me, Lu Ming can swear on it. Lu Ming said. Ha ha ha, what's there to swear on? Of course, I believe you, Commander. Let's go back and welcome you. Brother, please. Monarch Fengming laughed heartily before extending his hand to invite Heavenly Venerate 6 Sacred over. 6 Saints Heavenly Sovereign was caught off guard. Whoosh. At that moment, Monarch Fengming suddenly made his move. A battle sword appeared in his hand and he thrust it at 6 Saints Heavenly Sovereign. At such a close distance, 6 Saints Heavenly Sovereign was caught off guard. He did not expect Monarch Fengming to suddenly attack him. It was too late for him to dodge. Poof! The long sword pierced through 6 Saints Heavenly Sovereign's heart. Roar! 6 Saints Heavenly Sovereign roared and blasted out both his palms. Monarch Fengming pulled out his sword and retreated. 6 Saints Heavenly Sovereign fell to the ground and vomited blood. He was severely injured. Lu Ming and the others were shocked by the sudden turn of events. In a flash, they surrounded 6 Saints Heavenly Sovereign. Why are you doing this? Lu Ming looked coldly at Monarch Fengming. To get rid of you, of course. The one who spoke was not Monarch Fengming but someone else. Whoosh, whoosh. Figures flashed in the surroundings, and one after another, figures appeared. It's the evil god tribe. The others in the heaven domain were in an uproar. It's really the evil god tribe. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes. He understood everything when he saw the evil god tribe. The evil god tribe must have arrived after they entered the heaven domain. Monarch Fengming must have surrendered and pretended to be talking to Lu Ming to launch a sneak attack. Monarch Fengming knew that Six Saints' heavenly sovereign was a threat, so he launched a sneak attack to get rid of Six Saints' heavenly sovereign. At the very least, he wanted to injure Six Saints' heavenly sovereign severely. This way, Lu Ming and the others would be like a turtle in a jar. Lu Ming, the divine ancestor has instructed us to kill you if we meet you. You can go in peace. Ha ha ha. If we kill you, the divine ancestor will think highly of us. Lu Ming, your death will be worth it. Several evil god tribe members laughed loudly. Do you think you can kill me? Lu Ming said coldly. Oh. Do you want others to come and save you? Let me tell you, don't even think about it. Those useless subordinates of yours are all here. One of the evil god tribe members sneered. With a wave of his hand, several heads fell to the ground. Liao Minute, Wu Fan, looking at the heads, Lu Ming's eyes turned red. His body emitted an extremely cold killing intent. Liao Minute, Wu Fan, they were all Lu Ming's guards. They had followed Lu Ming from the beginning and had not betrayed Lu Ming. Now, they had been killed by the other party. He was furious. Today, all of you will die. Lu Ming's voice was extremely cold. Finally, he looked at Monarch Fengming and said, Your Fengming kingdom will be destroyed. Chapter 2484. The monarch of Fengming could not help but shudder when he saw Lu Ming's cold gaze. He then took a deep breath and said with a ferocious expression, You? I'll kill you right now. Swoosh. The monarch of Fengming made his move. A dazzling sword ray slashed toward Lu Ming. The monarch of Fengming had a cultivation base at the 4th level void transformation stage. In the heaven realm, he was equivalent to a 4-star heavenly emperor. His combat strength was much stronger than a 3-star heavenly emperor. The sword ray was extremely sharp and instantly closed in on Lu Ming. Boom! Lu Ming threw a punch at an astonishing speed. It landed accurately on the blade of the King of Fengming's sword. The combat sword in the hands of the King of Fengming vibrated continuously. The King of Fengming's body was also shaking violently. He retreated continuously. He only managed to stabilize himself after taking dozens of steps back. Your combat strength. How is it possible? The monarch of Fengming was shocked. In the earlier move, he felt that Lu Ming's strength had completely surpassed his. How was this possible? A few months ago, he had seen the battle between Lu Ming and Luo Mo. At that time, Lu Ming's strength was stronger than Luo Mo's, but not by much. The monarch of Fengming was confident that he could defeat or even kill Lu Ming. He did not expect Lu Ming's strength to surpass his in just a few months. How was this possible? One had to know that at their level of cultivation, it was extremely difficult for them to improve even a little. It required a long period of time, so how could it be improved in just a few short months? The cursed land. He must have obtained a supreme opportunity in the cursed land. That's why his combat strength skyrocketed. The monarch of Fengming thought to himself, Kill. I must kill him and seize his opportunity. The monarch of Fengming roared in his heart. The battle sword in his hand disappeared and was replaced by a black battle sword. Swoosh. The battle sword vibrated as sword chi soared into the sky. This is a Heaven Dao weapon. Lu Ming's heart jolted. It was not a Heaven Dao weapon since the monarch of Fengming's weapon did not contain Heaven Dao energy. However, its level was equivalent to a Heaven Dao weapon. As the monarch of Fengming with a cultivation base at the 4th level void transformation stage, it was normal for him to possess a weapon that was equivalent to a Heaven Dao weapon. Swoosh. The monarch of Fengming made his move again and charged toward Lu Ming. As for the other foreign tribes, they did not make a move. With monarch Fengming taking the lead, they were more than happy to sit back and enjoy the fruits of his labor. They blocked the monarch of Fengming and blocked the monarch of Fengming's escape. The great Baron spear appeared in Lu Ming's hands. A purplish gold glow emanated from his body as he swept the spear out. This time, Lu Ming unleashed his full strength. The monarch of Fengming. Boom. The Fengming collided once again. Swoosh. The battle sword in the hands of the monarch of Fengming vibrated violently as a terrifying force surged towards the monarch of Fengming. Fengming, the monarch of the Fengmings, was knocked. Ming, his eyes were as round as saucers, a look of disbelief on his face. He had used all his strength, but he was still vulnerable in front of Lu Ming. Kill. Lu Ming's aura was like a rainbow. His muscles vibrated as he charged toward the monarch of Fengming. His speed was extremely fast. The people in the Yellow Spring Mountain were generally stronger than the people outside. The monarch of Fengming was slightly stronger than the ordinary 4-star heavenly emperors outside. Lu Ming had cultivated the 7 gods' mysterious technique to the middle 6th level. He could suppress an ordinary 4-star heavenly emperor with just his physical strength. Therefore, his physical strength was equivalent to the monarch of Fengming. The monarch of Fengming had a battle sword that was equivalent to a Heaven Dao weapon. Lu Ming also had the Great Baron's spear. However, Lu Ming had the monarch of Fengming's Dao of domination. Boom! The Great Baron's spear vibrated and became huge as it charged toward the monarch of Fengming. The monarch of Fengming was shocked as he raised his battle sword to block the attack. The Great Baron's spear landed heavily on the monarch of Fengming's battle sword. The terrifying power caused the monarch of Fengming's arm to explode. The battle sword flew out of his hand. Lu Ming exerted the power of a master and with a sweep, he put away the other party's combat sword. As for the monarch of Fengming, his body smashed into the ground like a meteorite. Boom! The ground shook as the monarch of Fengming smashed a huge hole in the ground. He kept vomiting blood. Everyone was dumbfounded. The powerful monarch of Fengming could not even withstand a single blow from Lu Ming. Not good. Let's join forces and kill him, a foreign race member roared. Attack! The other foreign races roared and charged toward Lu Ming. There were a total of 3 4-star heavenly emperors. The rest were 3-star heavenly emperors, 2-star heavenly emperors, and 1-star heavenly emperors. A total of 9 foreign races charged toward Lu Ming. Attacks came from all directions toward Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming did not take the attacks head-on. Instead, he turned into a ray of light and charged toward the monarch of Fengming like a long spear. No, the monarch of Fengming roared. However, he was severely injured and could not dodge the attack. Bam! Lu Ming stomped heavily on the body of the king of Fengming. The body of the king of Fengming exploded and turned into ashes under the horrifying and violent force. Only a storage ring flew out and was caught by Lu Ming. Bam! Next, Lu Ming stomped heavily on the ground. The ground shook and a huge hole was formed. Cracks that looked like spider webs appeared on the ground. On the other hand, Lu Ming's body soared into the sky and the Great Baron's spear pierced out. Swoosh! 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 Streaks of spear radiance pierced through the sky and pierced toward the foreign races. Those 1-star heavenly emperors, 2-star heavenly emperors, and even 3-star heavenly emperors could not resist at all. They were pierced through by the spear radiance and killed in the air. Only the 3 4-star heavenly emperors were able to block it. However, their bodies shook violently and were sent flying by Lu Ming. These 3 4-star heavenly emperors were not as strong as the monarch of Fengming. Not good. Let's go. Get stronger experts to kill Lu Ming. One of the foreign races was horrified and turned to run. The other 2 foreign races ran faster than him. Lu Ming's combat power was not something they could fight against. If they did not run, they would die. The 3 of them ran in 3 different directions. Even if Lu Ming chased after them, he could only chase after one of them. Trying to escape. Lu Ming said coldly. The purplish gold light around his body became even more dazzling. Sovereign. Lu Ming whispered. The sovereign Dao merged with heaven and earth. It instantly affected the 3 foreign races, wanting to dominate them. The figures of the 3 outsider tribes stiffened instantly. This pause was more than enough. Whoosh! Lu Ming became one with his spear, turning into a purplish gold spear radiance. It pierced through the void and pierced toward one of the foreign races. Fart! That foreign race was directly killed by Lu Ming in the air. At this time, the other 2 foreign races had already reacted. They were horrified. Just now, They felt a powerful force acting on them from the unseen world, causing their bodies to stiffen. Run, run, run. The two foreign races were scared out of their wits and fled frantically. Chapter 2485. It seems like my sovereign energy can only affect a 4-star heavenly emperor for a split second. Lu Ming thought to himself. This was because he had comprehended the sovereign energy from the statue in the cursed grounds. Lu Ming's understanding of the sovereign Tao had improved greatly. Otherwise, he would not have been able to do it. However, being able to affect a 4-star heavenly emperor for a split second was enough. Those below the 4-star heavenly emperor level would be affected even more. For those with weaker cultivation levels, even if Lu Ming stood still, he could dominate the other party and prevent the other party from attacking him. Buzz. Lu Ming continued to control the sovereign Tao and used it on the remaining 2 heavenly emperors. The 2 heavenly emperors' bodies stiffened again. No, no, the 2 heavenly emperors screamed in their hearts. Whoosh! A ray of spear light shot out and killed one of the heavenly emperors. Next, there was only one last member of the foreign race left. He had already lost the thought of escaping and was attacking Lu Ming like a madman. The outcome was naturally destined. Within a few moves, he was killed by Lu Ming in the air. Lu Ming kept all the storage bracelets and storage rings of the heavenly emperors. The subordinates of the heavenly emperor of Fengming scattered. Heavenly Sovereign 6 saints and the others from the heavenly realm were dumbfounded. Including the heavenly emperor of Fengming, there were 4 4-star heavenly emperors. However, all of them were killed by Lu Ming. Lu Ming's means were simply strange and unpredictable. Senior 6 saints, how are your injuries? Lu Ming walked over and asked. I'm fine. I've stabilized myself. Heavenly Sovereign 6 saints replied. Earlier, he had been severely injured by the heavenly emperor of Fengming. Fortunately, his head and dantian were not injured. Although his injuries were serious, they were not fatal. With his unparalleled vitality, his recovery speed was amazing. Then, let's go and rob Fengming's palace. Lu Ming's eyes flashed coldly. Let's go. The others also revealed a ferocious look. Immediately, they flew towards the palace. When they arrived at the imperial palace, it was already in complete chaos. The news of Monarch Fengming's death had spread out. The experts in the palace were in a state of chaos. They started to snatch the treasures in the palace. In order to snatch the treasures, they fought and killed each other. The imperial palace was plunged into a state of slaughter. Kill. When Lu Ming and the others arrived, they immediately charged in. They specifically chose Heavenly Emperor realm powerhouses to kill. Fengming State, other than the 13 commanders, there were still some other Heavenly Emperor powerhouses. Lu Ming they all killed one on sight. Lu Ming killed 2 Heavenly Emperor realm powerhouses in a row and snatched the other party's storage ring. These Heavenly Emperors all carried quite a number of divine stones on them. The amount of resources that Lu Ming would need for his cultivation in the future was too terrifying. One had to know, his current true cultivation was just Great Emperor realm. The resources he consumed were comparable to other people's Heavenly Emperor realm. Then if he broke through to the Heavenly Emperor realm, how horrifying would the resources expended be? Therefore, what he wanted to do the most now was to accumulate resources. Run. Seeing Lu Ming and the rest charge over, the experts in the Imperial Palace dispersed in a hubbub. Lu Ming and the rest charged straight into the depths of the Imperial Palace. In the end, they opened a treasure trove. Inside was the Imperial Palace's treasure trove. There were large amounts of resources stored inside. All kinds of medicinal herbs, refining materials, even combat weapons, divine stones, and so on. Unfortunately, they did not discover weapons equivalent to Heavenly Emperor weapons. The highest grade was just Great Emperor weapons. There were also large amounts of divine stones. Lu Ming and the rest divided them up. Without a doubt, Lu Ming's contributions were the greatest. He took the lion's share. Lu Ming also accepted it without being courteous. Plundering the Imperial Palace clean, Lu Ming and the rest left Fengming State's capital and flew into the distance. They flew all the way out several 100,000 miles before they found a hidden place to stop. Heavenly Empyrean 6 Saints was recuperating here, while Lu Ming entered the mountain and river diagram and started counting the gains this time. Lu Ming took out the interspatial rings and interspatial bracelets and started counting them. The interspatial rings of the foreign races were mostly filled with crystals that were specially used by the foreign races. They were not very useful to Lu Ming. However, there were some divine stones in the interspatial bracelets of the foreign races. Lu Ming collected them all together. The greatest gain was still Monarch Feng Ming. Monarch Feng Ming had not only contributed a battle sword equivalent to a heavenly Dao weapon, but also a large amount of divine stones. In the end, Lu Ming piled up all the divine stones and counted them. There were about 30 million pieces. 30 million divine stones, each of which was equivalent to 10,000 supreme-grade origin stones. It was a shocking amount of wealth. Now, I can make a breakthrough in my cultivation. Lu Ming smiled. His understanding of the sovereign Dao had reached the standard. Now, he could make a breakthrough in his cultivation. Once his cultivation broke through and he became a 4-star Great Emperor, Lu Ming's battle strength would skyrocket. With a wave of his hand, Lu Ming took out a large number of divine stones and began to absorb the energy in them to break through. This time, Lu Ming did not use the Chaos Stones. He was planning to use only the divine stones. He only had about 10,000 Chaos Stones left. He planned to keep them for the time being as they might come in handy in the future. Bang! 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 The piles of divine stones exploded and turned into divine chi unique to the Yellow Springs realm, which was absorbed by Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming activated his path of domination and refined the energy with all his might, transforming it into the power of the world. Lu Ming began to break through to the 4-star Great Emperor realm. In the blink of an eye, 2 months had passed. Lu Ming's aura skyrocketed. His body was covered in a purple-golden glow, which made him look extremely noble. After 2 months of cultivation, Lu Ming finally made a breakthrough and reached the 4-star Great Emperor realm. The size of the small world in his body had expanded significantly. The force of the world had become stronger. The force of the sovereign Dao within the force of the world had also become denser. Lu Ming's battle prowess had skyrocketed. Now, with the sovereign Dao alone, Lu Ming could suppress a 4-star heavenly emperor. With the combination of the sovereign Dao and his physical body, Lu Ming could even kill a 5-star heavenly emperor. What was truly powerful was the sovereign Dao. One had to know that Lu Ming's current cultivation was only at the 4-star Great Emperor realm. If he could kill an enemy who was an entire realm higher, his potential for improvement was huge. How powerful would he be when he reached the Heavenly Emperor realm? Would he be able to compete with the martial gods? Lu Ming was looking forward to it. After finishing his cultivation, Lu Ming came out of the mountain and river diagram. Lu Ming, you have a breakthrough in your cultivation level again. Heavenly Sovereign 6 Saints was shocked when he sensed Lu Ming's aura. Lucky breakthrough. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Heavenly Sovereign 6 Saints and the others gasped. Lucky breakthrough? They smiled bitterly. Why didn't the others have such luck? They were already full of admiration for Lu Ming. How old was Lu Ming now? He could already kill 4-star heavenly emperors consecutively. Now that his cultivation had broken through again, how powerful would his battle prowess be? One had to know that 4-star heavenly emperors were already called heavenly sovereigns in the heaven realm. Lu Ming could already kill heavenly sovereigns consecutively now. In this world, he was almost standing at the peak. In a few more years, he would probably be invincible. They knew that they were witnessing the rapid rise of an invincible figure. Chapter 2486. Lu Ming, what do you plan to do next? 6 Saints asked. I'm going to the Dragon Man Empire, Lu Ming said. Previously, when he checked the ancient records, he knew that there was a cursed land in the Dragon Man Empire, which was much larger than the cursed land in Fengming. Go to the Dragon Man Empire? The faces of Heavenly Venerate 6 Saints and the others changed. Lu Ming, there is a 6-star Heavenly Emperor of a foreign race in the Dragon Man Empire who has gained the trust of the Dragon Man Empire. He is probably exploring the cursed land, 6 Saints said with a solemn face. A 6-star Heavenly Emperor was too strong. One more step and he would be a peak heavenly emperor. I won't fight them head on. I'll disguise myself and go over. This time, I'll go check out the situation. If they've already plundered the cursed land, I'll leave immediately. If they haven't, we might be able to take advantage of the situation and fish in troubled waters and make a fortune, Lu Ming said with a smile. In that case, we will go with you. Anyway, we don't know where to go now, Six Saints said. The others nodded. They really didn't know where to go now. Well, how about this? You all enter my pocket dimension first. I will disguise myself and go alone, Lu Ming said. Okay, let's do that. Six Saints and the others nodded and then entered Lu Ming's pocket dimension. After everyone entered the pocket dimension, Lu Ming used the divine breath technique and his body began to change. He turned into a dark-skinned young man and left for the Dragonman Empire. There was a small country between the Dragonman Empire and Fengming. Lu Ming rushed at full speed and took 3 days to reach the Dragonman Empire. The Dragonman Empire was vast, at least 10 times larger than Fengming. There were many races in the Dragonman Empire, such as the human race, the Naga race, and so on, but the Dragonman race was the most numerous. The Dragonman race had 2 dragon horns on their foreheads and a long dragon tail. Some of them even had dragon scales on their bodies. Other than that, they were no different from ordinary people. Lu Ming walked in a city and looked at these Dragonians. He was secretly amazed. These Dragonians were half human and half dragon. Their bodies emitted a dense dragon aura. They were burly and each of them was more than 2 meters tall. This Yellow Springs mountain sure has many races. Senior ancestral dragon said that the Yellow Springs mountain comes from beyond the heavens. What kind of place is beyond the heavens? Are there many races? 10,000 races contending for hegemony? Lu Ming's thoughts were all over the place, his imagination running wild. He was very curious about beyond the heavens. I have the blood essence of 9 dragons, and I cultivate the dragon god battle body. I've also refined some dragon marrow, so I also have a strong dragon aura. Why don't I disguise myself as a dragon man? Thinking of this, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. If he could disguise himself as a dragon, it would be easier for him to do things in the Dragonman Empire. Immediately, Lu Ming's body began to change rapidly. 2 dragon horns grew out of his forehead, scales appeared on his body, and a long tail grew out of his buttocks. Furthermore, there was a dense dragon aura emanating from his body, making him look exactly like a draconian. Ha ha! Lu Ming laughed, and then swaggered down the street. On the street, the creatures of other races all showed a look of awe when they saw Lu Ming. In the Dragonman Empire, although there were many races, they were also divided into ranks. There was no doubt that wherever a draconian went, they would be respected and enjoy privileges. Let's go to the capital of the Dragonman Empire. Lu Ming smiled and flew toward the capital of the Dragonman Empire. After a few more days, Lu Ming arrived at the capital of the Dragonman Empire. Lu Ming wandered around the capital of the Dragonman Empire. An evil god tribe member. After walking for a while, Lu Ming's eyes suddenly lit up. He saw an evil god tribe member. This evil god tribe member looked very young, and his cultivation was definitely less than 10,000 years. He should be a prodigy on the longevity list of a foreign race, and his cultivation was only at the Great Emperor realm. Lu Ming revealed a smile and walked over directly. You foreign race, how dare you molest a beauty of my race, you're courting death. Lu Ming glared at this foreign race member and strode toward him. What? This foreign race member was stunned. Kneel down and surrender. Lu Ming grinned and slapped him. The other party was shocked and wanted to resist, but he was too far away from Lu Ming. Lu Ming directly slapped him in the face and knocked him unconscious. In the surroundings, many draconians looked at Lu Ming curiously. This guy molested a beauty of my race. Shouldn't he be taught a lesson? Lu Ming said casually. Yes, he should be taught a lesson. Recently, this 3-eyed foreign race member has been very arrogant. He should be taught a lesson. Good lesson. How dare he molest a beauty of my race? How hateful. Cripple him. The draconians shouted. Lu Ming smiled. He then grabbed the alien race member and left the place in big strides. After walking a few rounds, he came to a remote place. There was no one around. Lu Ming reached out a finger and tapped this person's glabella. Lu Ming executed the soul-searching technique, wanting to search this person's soul and obtain information. This person's body trembled. Very soon, Lu Ming obtained some useful information. The foreign race did have a 6-star Heavenly Emperor realm expert who was valued by the Draconians Empire. He cooperated with the Draconians Empire and entered the Cursed Land to search for treasures, sharing equally with the Draconians Empire. This time, the foreign race gathered 50 to 60 experts in the Draconians Empire. There were quite a number of Heavenly Emperors. As early as a few months ago, the foreign race entered that Cursed Land. However, they encountered difficulties. There were dangers and obstacles in the Cursed Land. The foreign race's advancement was extremely slow. During this period of time, they had been thinking of ways to conquer that Cursed Land. Furthermore, in the areas that were conquered, the foreign race had great gains and obtained quite a number of treasures. Not conquered yet, good. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. That Cursed Land had not been completely conquered yet, and the places that were conquered had quite a number of treasures. This meant that this Cursed Land had not been explored by anyone before. There would definitely be great gains inside. Lu Ming decided that this Cursed Land, he must explore it well. Bang! Lu Ming waved his hand. A burst of energy erupted, killing this foreign race. Then, with a fire, he turned this person into ashes. Then, Lu Ming headed for that Cursed Land. That Cursed Land was in the west of the Draconians Empire's capital, in a mountain range. Very soon, Lu Ming arrived at that place. This mountain range had quite a number of Draconians powerhouses guarding it. But seeing that Lu Ming was also a Draconians, those Draconians thought that he was one of them and did not care much. Anyway, the Yellow Springs mountain natives could not enter that Cursed Land. Lu Ming passed through this mountain range very easily and arrived at his destination. In the mountain range, there was a castle. The castle occupied a very large area. This was the Cursed Land. In the vicinity, there were quite a number of Draconians wandering around, waiting. Chapter 2487. Lu Ming swaggered over. When the Dragonians saw him, they did not pay much attention to him. Lu Ming wandered around for a while and suddenly rushed toward the Cursed Land. "What are you doing? You're courting death." The Dragonians at the side roared. The people of the Yellow Springs world had been cursed for generations. They could not enter the Cursed Land. Once they entered, they would die. In their opinion, Lu Ming was courting death. However, Lu Ming did not slow down. He ran wildly and approached the castle in the blink of an eye. He's fine. He's fine. The Dragonians looked at each other. According to their experience, as long as they were within a certain range of the Cursed Land, they would be cursed and die on the spot. However, Lu Ming was fine even after running to the castle. Fake. Damn it. He must be a fake. He's pretending to be a Dragonian. Damn it. The Dragonians thought about it and knew that Lu Ming was a fake. Only people from the outside world could enter the Cursed Land. However, they could only watch and did not dare to pursue. The castle was extremely huge and the door was open. Lu Ming rushed in directly. Behind the door was a passage that was dark and serene. Lu Ming slowed down and moved forward cautiously. This was because this Cursed Land was dangerous. However, this passage was not dangerous. When Lu Ming was about to reach the end, he was fine. However, at the exit of the passage, there were two foreign races guarding there. When they saw Lu Ming, they were stunned. This was because Lu Ming was still in the form of a Dragonian. How could a Dragonian enter this place? Therefore, they could not react in time. Swoosh. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Lu Ming charged forward. His palm was like a knife as he slashed horizontally. Bam! Bam! Two explosions sounded. The two foreign races were killed by Lu Ming. Lu Ming rushed past. Behind the passage was a huge platform. In front of the platform, there were two paths. Both were very wide. The two paths led in different directions. The road on the right was pitch black and filled with bloody mist. It looked extremely terrifying. As for the path on the left, it was also filled with a white fog that obstructed one's line of sight, making it impossible to see what was ahead. More than 10 non-humankind beings were either standing or sitting on the platform. A few non-humankind beings were also standing on the left side of the road. Only the intersection on the right was free of outsiders. The moment Lu Ming entered, all of them turned to look at Lu Ming. Draconian? No, it's definitely not a dragon, people. Someone is impersonating him. Who cares who he is? He doesn't have the aura of my clan. He must be from the heaven realm. Kill him. Cold auras bloomed one after another as cold voices rang out. Whoosh. A member of the alien race had 4 arms and was extremely fast. He took the lead and charged toward Lu Ming. This foreign race had 3-star Heavenly Emperor cultivation. It could be said to be very powerful. But who he encountered was Lu Ming. Purplish gold light suffused Lu Ming's body. The power of sovereigns condensed into a long spear and stabbed out. Lu Ming looked like he was stabbing at the void. But when he stabbed out, a miserable cry sounded out. It was only to see that 4-armed foreign race appeared out of thin air. His head was already pierced by Lu Ming. A 3-star Heavenly Emperor was directly insta-killed. Not good, this person is very strong. Attack together, kill. More than 10 foreign races, other than a few whose cultivation was below Heavenly Emperor, the other foreign races all attacked. They were all Heavenly Emperor realm cultivation. There were a few people who were very terrifying. 2 4-star Heavenly Emperors, 1 5-star Heavenly Emperor. Lu Ming did not hide his strength anymore and attacked with all his might. The great desolate spear appeared in his hand. Lu Ming bathed in purplish gold light. The long spear trembled, stabbing out several times in succession. 2 4-star Heavenly Emperors were directly sent flying by Lu Ming, vomiting large mouthfuls of blood. And that 5-star Heavenly Emperor's body shook violently, retreating repeatedly. Lu Ming erupted with all his strength now. How powerful was that? Even a 5-star Heavenly Emperor was not his match. Not good, this person is troublesome. Quickly call Lord. That 5-star Heavenly Emperor roared. Call Lord. There were a few foreign races guarding the left side of the road. At this moment, they rushed into that road. Kill. Lu Ming held the long spear in his hand. His killing intent was as cold as a blade as he charged towards those foreign races. With a sweep of the long spear, several foreign races were sent flying. Their bones and tendons were broken, and they died on the spot. Damn it! That 5-star Heavenly Emperor roared. A yellow stone flew out from his third eye. It emitted a powerful aura and directly smashed towards Lu Ming. This is a Heavenly Dao soldier. No, it doesn't have the aura of the Heavenly Dao. It's a weapon of this world. Lu Ming's heart stirred. The yellow stone that the other party took out was a weapon equivalent to a Heavenly Dao soldier. It was a weapon from Yellow Springs Mountain. There were many strange formations inscribed inside. As long as energy was injected, it could be activated. Boom! Lu Ming shook his long spear and swept it out, colliding with this stone. That stone was sent flying. That foreign race 5-star Heavenly Emperor was also repeatedly pushed back by Lu Ming's powerful energy. Lu Ming took large strides forward, his long spear stabbing out continuously. Puff! Puff! One foreign race after another died under Lu Ming's spear. With Lu Ming's current combat strength, those below 4-star Heavenly Emperor could not block a single move from him at all. In a blink of an eye, there were only 5 or 6 of the dozen foreign races left. The remaining foreign races revealed looks of alarm and fear. They did not dare to continue fighting at all and turned around to run. Courting death. At this moment, an angry roar came from the left side of the road. One could see a burly figure rushing out from that road, stirring up white mist like a hurricane. The person had not come out yet, but a berserk aura was already pressing towards Lu Ming. 6-star Heavenly Emperor? Lu Ming muttered, not the slightest bit afraid. Taking large strides forward, a terrifying purple-gold spear light rushed towards a foreign race 4-star Heavenly Emperor. That foreign race did his best to block a move and vomited large mouthfuls of blood. One of his arms exploded, suffering heavy injuries. "Your Excellency, save me," that foreign race shouted loudly. "You dare!" Inside the road, that voice roared angrily. "Kill." Lu Ming was very decisive, rushing over once again. Spear light tore through the air, directly piercing through that injured 4-star Heavenly Emperor, killing him in the air. Swish. At this time, a pale white saber light slashed out from the intersection. The power was astonishingly strong. A terrifying force pounced straight for Lu Ming's face. Lu Ming's arm shook. The great spear changed direction with extreme speed, blocking in front of him. Clang. A violent vibration. Lu Ming felt a berserk force rushing towards him. Lu Ming could not help retreating repeatedly. Following that, a burly foreign race holding a battle saber walked out from that intersection. This foreign race's 3 eyes flickered with an ice-cold light. His body emitted a powerful aura. 6-star Heavenly Emperor. Following that, figures flashed. 5 or 6 figures rushed out from the left side of the road. Each one was an expert. 4 5-star Heavenly Emperors. Lu Ming saw through the other party's cultivation. 1 6-star Heavenly Emperor, 4 5-star Heavenly Emperors. Chapter 2488. A 6-star Heavenly Emperor, 4 5-star Heavenly Emperors, formed an encirclement, surrounding Lu Ming. Cold killing intent enveloped Lu Ming. Heavenly Realms trash. That 6-star Heavenly Emperor opened his mouth icily. This was a foreign race aristocrat. His figure was tall, his entire body covered in purple scales. Holding a battle blade in his hand, he was broad and huge, even taller than an ordinary person. Bang! The other party directly made a move. His burly body closed in on Lu Ming in an instant. An enormous battle blade slashed out violently. Space directly exploded, the power astonishing. Lu Ming's entire body was suffused with a resplendent purple-gold light, urging his power to the limit. When Lu Ming's power was urged to the limit, it was hard for him to continue maintaining his disguise and revealed his original appearance. Buzz! The great desolate spear vibrated frenziedly, sweeping out, colliding together fiercely with the other party's battle blade. With an intense rumble, Lu Ming was repelled back once more. Right now, even if he erupted fully, he was also not a 6-star Heavenly Emperor's match. Heavenly Emperor realm, between each level, there was a considerable gap. Lu Ming, it's you. The moment Lu Ming revealed his true body, the other party recognized Lu Ming. Kill him. Attack together. The other 4 5-star Heavenly Emperors also roared one after another, attacking together. 5 5-star Heavenly Emperors joining hands, the power was extremely terrifying too. Lu Ming brandished his long spear until it was airtight, blocking the other party's attacks. But his figure was still struck back repeatedly, the vital energy and blood within his body in turmoil. Kill. That 6-star Heavenly Emperor also rushed over, slashing out a pale white blade light. Lu Ming did not receive it head-on anymore. His muscles trembled, moving 100 meters horizontally, avoiding the other party's attack. After that, he rushed toward that path on the right. That path did not have any foreign races guarding it. The 5 foreign race powerhouses chased in hot pursuit relentlessly. Swoosh! Lu Ming's speed was very fast. In a twinkle, he arrived at that intersection and did not stop in the slightest, directly rushing over. The 5 outsiders stopped in their tracks. Are we chasing or not? A 5-star Heavenly Emperor asked. There's no need to chase after him. This path is even more dangerous than the one on the left, and it's much more difficult. This kid will only die if he goes in. Leave 2 people here to guard this place. We'll continue to attack over there. If there's any movement here, inform me immediately. That 6-star Heavenly Emperor instructed. Yes. The others nodded. They waited for a while longer. Seeing that Lu Ming didn't come out, a few of them returned to the left path, leaving 2 people to wait nearby. Lu Ming entered the path on the right and kept going forward. This path was filled with blood-red mist, blocking their line of sight and preventing them from seeing what lay ahead. The non-human kind didn't chase after us. I'm afraid this place is dangerous. Lu Ming pondered. He was on full alert, and his body was covered with the power of a sovereign. With the Great Desolation spear in hand, he carefully advanced. After walking for over 10 miles, a dragon's roar suddenly resounded from the front. That's right, it was a dragon's roar. Is there a true dragon here? Lu Ming was somewhat puzzled. He continued to move forward. Roar, roar. The dragon's roar became louder and louder. Suddenly, the mist surged, and 2 blood-red lights appeared in the mist, like 2 blood moons. Then, a huge true dragon appeared in the blood mist. The true dragon was blood-red all over. Its blood-red eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Roar. True dragon, there's actually a true dragon. Lu Ming was bewildered. This was the Yellow Springs Mountain, which came from outer space. In the Heaven Domain, the ancestral dragon was known as the ancestor of all true dragons. In that case, weren't there only true dragons in the Heaven Domain? Could it be that there were also true dragons in outer space? Then the saying that the ancestral dragon was the ancestor of all true dragons was worth discussing. No, it's not a physical body. It's an illusory body. Then, Lu Ming's gaze moved. He discovered that this true dragon looked like a physical body, but there was no aura of life on its body. Instead, it was condensed from a kind of energy. Roar. As soon as this true dragon saw Lu Ming, it roared loudly and pounced toward Lu Ming. 1-star Heavenly Emperor. The moment this true dragon made a move, Lu Ming determined that the other party was equivalent to a 1-star Heavenly Emperor's cultivation. 1-star Heavenly Emperors were naturally not Lu Ming's match. Lu Ming stabbed out with a spear and routed this true dragon. But, after this true dragon was routed, it turned into a surge of energy and drifted backward, then condensed into a physical body again. Roar. Roar. Following that, even more roars came over. Amidst the blood mist surging, another blood-red true dragon appeared. The auras emitted were both strong and weak. But the weakest was 1-star Heavenly Emperor. The strongest already reached 3-star Heavenly Emperor. The moment these true dragons saw Lu Ming, they all roared angrily and pounced toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming held the great desolate spear in his hand and rushed over. The long spear trembled, stabbing out one spear light after another, piercing into the heads of these true dragons, rooting these true dragons. But the moment these true dragons were routed, they immediately condensed again. They could not be killed at all. Kill. Lu Ming rushed over, going deep inside. But he discovered that more and more true dragons appeared. Furthermore, there were already 4-star Heavenly Emperor realm true dragons. From front to back, there were more than 20 of them, surrounding Lu Ming. Why are there so many true dragons? Could these be dragon souls? Lu Ming guessed. More than 20 true dragons pounced toward Lu Ming continuously. After being routed by Lu Ming, they condensed again. But Lu Ming finally discovered one point. Each time these true dragons were routed, they would become a little weaker. It was not that they could not be killed at all. As long as they were killed a few more times, they could still be killed. Lu Ming's long spear trembled continuously. Resplendent and sharp spear light shot out continuously, blowing up these true dragons. Amen. Right at this time, Lu Ming's expression changed. He felt that the divine 9-dragon cauldron that had been quiet in his sea of consciousness all along actually had an abnormal movement. Ever since the divine 9-dragon cauldron exhausted its energy more than 100 years ago, there had never been any abnormal movement. But now, there was an abnormal movement. Could it be related to these true dragons? Lu Ming did not even think about it and directly summoned the divine 9-dragon cauldron. Buzz. The moment the divine 9-dragon cauldron came out, it shook violently. The true dragon carving on the cauldron emitted a resplendent light. The true dragon on it seemed to have come alive. Roar. Following that, an intense dragon roar emitted from the divine 9-dragon cauldron. Then, a 9-dragon phantom emerged, opening its big mouth and letting out a long roar. A terrifying devouring force emitted from the 9-dragon phantom's mouth. Those blood-red true dragons revealed a look of fear and let out a wail. But in the next moment, these blood-red true dragons actually turned into streaks of red light, flying into the 9-dragon's mouth and disappearing. More than 20 blood-red true dragons in a row, regardless of cultivation level, were all swallowed into the 9-dragon phantom's mouth. Buzz! The divine 9-dragon cauldron shook violently. On the surface, it emitted a powerful aura. The divine 9-dragon cauldron revived. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Chapter 2489. Lu Ming did not expect that after the divine 9-dragon cauldron devoured this kind of blood-red true dragon, it actually revived and emitted a powerful undulation. Although it was still far from its heyday back then, it was also very astonishing. Haha, this kind of blood-red true dragon is actually useful to the divine 9-dragon cauldron. The more the better. Lu Ming laughed loudly in his heart. Just now, he was still rather depressed because of these blood-red true dragons. Now, he wished for more. Lu Ming's mind stirred, put away the divine 9-dragon cauldron, and continued forward. Roar! Roar! Dragon roars continuously sounded out. As Lu Ming went deeper, blood-red true dragons appeared continuously, the numbers getting more and more. Furthermore, their cultivation was also getting stronger and stronger. At the back, 5-star heavenly emperor realms actually appeared. However, after Lu Ming summoned the divine 9-dragon cauldron, it directly devoured these blood-red true dragons. If one did not work, he would summon 2. This road was very long. Lu Ming walked a full 1,000 miles before reaching the end. And Lu Ming already had several divine 9-dragon cauldrons awaken. At the end of the road was a huge wasteland. In the center of the wasteland, there was a huge mountain peak. Roar! Roar! One dragon roar after another reverberated throughout heaven and earth. So many, Lu Ming was dumbfounded with amazement. He saw one blood-red true dragon after another cruising on the wasteland. At a glance, there was no idea how many there were at all. The aura varied in strength. Some were 1-star heavenly emperors, some even reached 6-star heavenly emperors. Lu Ming was not alarmed but delighted instead. So many blood-red true dragons were all treasures in Lu Ming's eyes. To others, these blood-red true dragons were nothing short of murderous. For example, to the foreign races, they were terrifying killing stars. Those foreign races, the strongest was only 6-star heavenly emperors. If they rushed here, there was probably only a dead end. No wonder this road on the right has no foreign races. Turns out that it's so dangerous, ha ha ha. Thinking up to here, Lu Ming laughed loudly. In Lu Ming's eyes, these true dragons were all nourishment for the divine 9-dragon cauldron. If the divine 9-dragon cauldron was fully awakened, with Lu Ming's current cultivation, he would definitely be able to unleash the full power of the divine 9-dragon cauldron. When those blood-red true dragons saw Lu Ming, they let out roars and charged at Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled and dashed over as well. The moment he dashed out, a huge cauldron flew out from his glabella. A total of 9 cauldrons floated out from the cauldrons, emitting a dazzling brilliance. Then, they condensed into the figure of 9 dragons, which opened their mouths and unleashed a powerful devouring force. The power of devouring enveloped those blood-red true dragons. Those below 6-star heavenly emperor did not have the strength to fight back at all. They directly turned into streaks of blood-red light and flew into the 9-dragon phantom's mouth, turning into energy to stimulate the divine 9-dragon cauldron. On top of the 9 divine 9-dragon cauldrons, they all emitted brilliance. The aura became stronger and stronger. The dragon-shaped carvings on them seemed to have come alive. Very soon, the blood-red true dragons in this area were devoured clean. Lu Ming immediately moved to another place and went to devour the blood-red true dragons in other areas. If those few foreign races knew that Lu Ming entered this place so easily, they would probably be angered to death alive. Lu Ming ran continuously, devouring the blood-red true dragons here. In a short few hours, more than half of the blood-red true dragons here were devoured by Lu Ming. The reason why he spent a few hours was mainly that those blood-red true dragons equivalent to 6-star heavenly emperor realm still had some resistance and were harder to deal with. Bang! Just as Lu Ming was about to continue controlling the divine 9-dragon cauldron to devour the blood-red true dragons, in the middle of the wasteland, that mountain suddenly shook. Then, it emitted a resplendent blood-red light. Roar! Suddenly, a dragon roar came from that mountain, shaking heaven and earth. This mountain also has a true dragon. Wait a minute, this mountain can't be a great tomb, right? A true dragon great tomb? Lu Ming could not help guessing. And the more he looked, the more it looked like it. It was extremely likely that an extremely powerful true dragon was buried in this mountain. Many years after death, the dragon's soul emitted out, turning into blood-red true dragons. This was extremely likely. The divine nine-dragon cauldron only revived after devouring this kind of dragon soul. Roar. On that mountain, the dragon roar became louder and louder. Following that, a dazzling blood-red light pervaded the air. A huge blood-red true dragon rushed out of the mountain, emitting a powerful and astonishing aura. Peak 7-star Heavenly Emperor. Lu Ming's eyes turned intent. The aura emitted by this blood-red true dragon already reached peak Heavenly Emperor. It was extremely terrifying. Who knows how many years after death, just the remnant dragon soul can reach peak Heavenly Emperor. This true dragon shouldn't have been a powerful martial god realm existence when it was alive, right? Lu Ming guessed, secretly clicking his tongue. Roar. At this moment, the 9 dragon phantoms also let out a long roar. The 9 divine 9-dragon cauldrons emitted a resplendent brilliance. The 9 dragon phantoms directly pounced towards that peak Heavenly Emperor realm blood-red true dragon. That blood-red true dragon also pounced towards the 9 dragon phantoms. The 2 enormous dragons intertwined in the air, fighting fiercely. Vast dragon might spread out in all directions. The other blood-red true dragons prostrated themselves on the ground, not daring to make any unusual movements at all. The 2 giant dragons were locked in a fierce battle. It was not that the 9 dragon phantoms' combat strength was so powerful, comparable to a peak Heavenly Emperor. It was not like that. But the 9 dragons seemed to be innately restraining the other party. Or rather, it was restraining the dragon soul. Therefore, the 2 were locked in battle. This battle was a battle that lasted for a long time. Because once that blood-red true dragon was defeated, it would condense again. However, every time the other party was defeated, the 9 dragons would take the opportunity to devour some of the other party's dragon soul. But that mountain had an endless stream of dragon soul replenishing it. Therefore, that blood-red true dragon maintained its peak state from beginning to end, fighting with the 9 dragons. This battle lasted for a full month. Lu Ming was speechless and simply cultivated at the side. However, after a month of fighting, the 9 dragon phantoms finally gained the upper hand. Because in that mountain, there was finally no more dragon soul replenishment. Without replenishment, every time the other party was defeated by the 9 dragons, a portion would be devoured, and it would become weaker and weaker. In the end, that true dragon was defeated by the 9 dragons, then turned into wisps of light, completely devoured by the 9 dragons. Buzz. After devouring that true dragon, the divine 9-dragon cauldron shook violently. It was dazzling, its aura reaching its peak. The divine 9-dragon cauldron had completely awakened. Lu Ming could control it with a thought. What terrifying power! Lu Ming controlled the divine 9-dragon cauldron. Feeling the power emitted from it, Lu Ming was overjoyed. He felt that if he controlled 9 divine 9-dragon cauldrons at the same time now, he would probably be able to erupt with the power of a peak Heavenly Emperor. Lu Ming was overjoyed. In other words, with the divine 9-dragon cauldron in hand, he could completely fight with a peak Heavenly Emperor. Continue. Lu Ming controlled the divine 9-dragon cauldron and continued to devour the remaining blood-red true dragons. Not long after, the blood-red true dragons on the wasteland were all devoured by the divine 9-dragon cauldron. Not a single one was left. Chapter 2490. On the opposite side of the wasteland, there was also a path that led straight ahead. No one knew where it led. Lu Ming did not hesitate and directly stepped onto the path. He was much more confident now. Now, with the help of the divine 9-dragon cauldron, he was not afraid even if he encountered a peak Heavenly Emperor. Right now, only invincible powerhouses and martial god realm existences posed a threat to Lu Ming. However, the number of such existences was too small. Martial god realm existences, currently, only the foreign race's sacred ancestor and ancestral dragon were left. As for martial emperor powerhouses, the number was also not many. For example, Chaos Emperor and Imperishable Emperor had both fallen. This kind of character had half a foot into the martial god realm. Heavenly realm and evil god realm added up, there were not many. According to what Lu Ming knew, this time, neither the heavenly realm nor the evil god race had such a character come in and stand guard outside. Of course, this was only what it looked like on the surface. Whether there was such a character in the dark or not, Lu Ming could not be sure. Along the way, there was no danger at all on the following road. It was calm and peaceful. Lu Ming advanced at least several thousand miles. Lu Ming was somewhat speechless. Although the castle looked big from the outside, it was not that exaggerated. After entering, he discovered that the space inside was shockingly large. It probably used spatial technology. After several thousand miles, the road narrowed, only allowing several people to pass side by side. After advancing another 1,000 miles, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Because a door appeared in front of him. It was the end. Lu Ming strode forward, using the divine 9-dragon cauldron to protect himself, and rushed through the door. Behind the door was a vast hall. The hall was filled with dazzling light. When Lu Ming saw it, he was stunned. The source of the light in the hall was many balls of light. In the hall, there were many balls of light. Each ball of light was dazzling. Inside each ball of light was a treasure. Yes, they were treasures. Most of them were battle weapons. There were also some storage rings or storage bracelets. All of them were treasures. There were hundreds of them. Ha ha ha, I'm rich. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Then he flew up and grabbed at a ball of light. Whoosh. However, when Lu Ming approached the ball of light, it flew away as if it had a mind of its own. Don't even think about leaving. Lu Ming chuckled. His muscles trembled as he shot forward, his Tao of the Sovereign Lord transforming into an enormous hand that reached out to grab the ball of light. This time, the ball of light couldn't fly away and was caught in Lu Ming's hand. However, after grabbing the ball of light, Lu Ming didn't take out the battle weapon because it was blocked. That ball of light seemed to be formed by the formation above. It wouldn't be easy to take out the treasure inside. Refine. Lu Ming unleashed his sovereign power and began to refine the ball of light. Fortunately, the defensive power of the ball of light wasn't that strong. After a few minutes, Lu Ming opened it, and a spear-like weapon fell into Lu Ming's hands. It's only equivalent to a great emperor weapon. Lu Ming was a little disappointed when he checked it. This spear was only equivalent to a great emperor weapon. It wasn't very useful to Lu Ming. However, it wasn't bad to bring it out and give it to others. Lu Ming kept it. Then, Lu Ming grabbed another ball of light. Inside this ball of light was also a combat weapon, a combat sword. After being caught by Lu Ming, he refined it for a few minutes. Then, Lu Ming took out the battle sword. It's equivalent to a heavenly Tao weapon. This time, Lu Ming was overjoyed. This battle sword was actually equivalent to a heavenly Tao weapon. It was filled with layers of strange formations. Lu Ming injected energy into it and waved the battle sword, erupting with astonishing power. A weapon equivalent to a heavenly Tao weapon was priceless. Lu Ming hadn't obtained many of them so far. Even if Lu Ming didn't use it himself, he could bring it out and give it to the Heavenly Realm's Heavenly Emperor. It could greatly increase the Heavenly Realm's combat power. After obtaining a heavenly Tao weapon, Lu Ming's heart was burning with passion. He continued to grab other balls of light. Next, Lu Ming grabbed dozens of balls of light. However, there weren't many heavenly Tao weapons. However, there were more than 30 balls of light, and there were 5 heavenly Tao weapons. The rest were almost all great emperor weapons. In addition, those storage rings and storage bracelets were mainly made of divine stones. A large number of divine stones. Lu Ming was overjoyed. This time, he really hit the jackpot. There were more than 30 balls of light, and there were 5 heavenly Tao weapons. Lu Ming was already very satisfied. There were hundreds of balls of light here. Didn't that mean there were dozens of heavenly Tao weapons? If this was spread out, it would scare people to death. Also, There were a large number of divine stones. Lu Ming wouldn't have to worry about resources for a long time in the future. Lu Ming was even more excited as he collected those balls of light. Right at this moment, in the other direction of the main hall, behind a door, a figure flashed, and dozens of figures rushed in. The Evil God Tribe. They were all the Evil God Tribe members that Lu Ming had encountered previously. It seemed that after so long of hard work, these foreign races had finally opened up the left path. The left and right paths ultimately led to this main hall. When these Evil God Tribe members saw those balls of light in the main hall, their eyes burst with a fiery light. When they saw Lu Ming, their fiery light turned into ice-cold killing intent. It's Lu Ming. Damn it, he didn't die. That foreign race 6-star Heavenly Emperor roared. Lu Ming had entered the right path and actually didn't die. Moreover, he had entered here earlier than them. This made them very puzzled. But now, they didn't think too much about it. Because when they saw Lu Ming collecting those treasures, their eyes turned red. They had worked hard for several months. In their opinion, these treasures were all theirs. Kill him. The foreign race 6-star Heavenly Emperor shouted coldly, holding a battle blade, taking the lead to charge towards Lu Ming. A cold blade light chopped towards Lu Ming. At the same time, the other foreign races also attacked Lu Ming, wanting to behead Lu Ming. Originally, I wanted to go and find you all after collecting these treasures. Now that you all delivered yourselves, I'll send you all on your way then. Lu Ming opened his mouth indifferently. With a thought, the 9 divine 9 dragon cauldrons flew out. Buzz. The divine 9 dragon cauldrons trembled, emitting a horrifying aura, suppressing towards the several dozen foreign races. Not good. Feeling the power emitted by the divine 9 dragon cauldrons, that 6-star Heavenly Emperor realm foreign race was greatly alarmed, erupting with full power, turning the attack into defense. But the other foreign races' reactions were not so fast. Bang! When the divine 9 dragon cauldrons bombarded down, the bodies of those foreign races with weaker cultivation directly exploded. Even 5-star Heavenly Emperors had their bodies torn apart by that vast power of the divine 9 dragon cauldrons, perishing on the spot. Only that 6-star Heavenly Emperor did not perish. But he also sustained serious injuries, retreating while vomiting large mouthfuls of blood. The divine 9 dragon cauldrons, 9 cauldrons erupting together, the power was equivalent to peak great emperors. How could these foreign races possibly block it? Run! That foreign race 6-star Heavenly Emperor turned around and fled without even thinking. But it was already too late. The 9 large cauldrons enlarged rapidly, suppressing in all directions, enveloping him inside. No! The foreign race roared loudly, his battle blade slashing out violently, slashing out several hundred streaks of blade light. Chapter 2491. This foreign race was indeed very strong. He had the cultivation of a 6-star Heavenly Emperor, and the battle saber in his hand was also a Heavenly Dao weapon. However, the divine 9 dragon cauldron was not an ordinary Heavenly Dao weapon. Ancestral Dragon had told Lu Ming before that the divine 9 dragon cauldron was refined by Ancestral Dragon with the help of the 9 dragons. It cost Ancestral Dragon and the 9 dragons endless effort. In the end, the 9 dragons used it to suppress the passage. It was no small matter, and its power was far from what an ordinary Heavenly Dao weapon could compare to. It had even surpassed the category of a Heavenly Dao weapon. Clang! 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 The battle saber of the foreign race 6-star Heavenly Emperor constantly slashed on the divine 9 dragon cauldron. Sparks flew in all directions, and it shook continuously. However, every time it collided with the divine nine-dragon cauldron, the body of the foreign race 6-star heavenly emperor would shake. A powerful force blasted towards him, causing him to suffer a heavy blow. After several hundred consecutive collisions, puff, the other party vomited large mouthfuls of blood. Cracks appeared on his body, and blood seeped out. Lu Ming, this time, my race's Saint Ancestor and Saint Ancestor Shoshin will definitely be able to recover to their peak. At that time, the heavenly realm will definitely be destroyed. You will also die without a burial ground. The foreign race heavenly emperor roared. Comfort yourself. Be on your way. Lu Ming said coldly, trying his best to control the divine nine-dragon cauldron, bombarding down one after another. In the end, the foreign race 6-star heavenly emperor finally could not resist. His body cracked and then exploded, and his body and soul were destroyed. With a wave of his hand, he kept the foreign race's storage bracelet. Lu Ming was not in a hurry to collect those treasures. Instead, he rushed towards the passage that the foreign race had just entered. He would first kill all the foreign races, and then collect the treasures in peace. When he came to that passage, there were actually those blood-red true dragons roaming around. However, the number was much less than the passage on the right. Moreover, they were not too strong. They were much weaker. No wonder those foreign races could rush over. Lu Ming did not stand on ceremony. He controlled the divine nine-dragon cauldron and swallowed all the blood-red true dragons. Following this path, he walked outside. Indeed, there were some foreign races guarding there. They were all killed by Lu Ming. Following that, Lu Ming returned to the main hall and began to collect those balls of light. After spending a few days, Lu Ming finally collected all the treasures in the balls of light. There were 35 Heaven Dao soldier weapons, and the rest were Great Emperor weapons. There was also a large number of God stones. Lu Ming did not go to collect them. In any case, it was enough for him to use for a while. Especially the 35 Heavenly Dao soldier level treasures. If he brought them out, it would probably cause a huge commotion. Although this Yellow Springs mountain is dangerous, it is also accompanied by opportunities. Lu Ming sighed. I wonder how Xiao Qing, Bubbles, Dandan, Huangling, and the others are doing. Lu Ming thought of Xian Yanqing and the others and couldn't help but worry. The Yellow Springs world could be said to be extremely dangerous. Not only would he have to face the otherworldly demons, he would also have to face the experts of the Yellow Springs realm. Xian Yanqing and Dandan were still alright, they both reached the Heavenly Emperor realm. As for Bubbles, Long Chen, Huang Ling, and the others, their cultivation levels were still low. Furthermore, there were his two disciples. If they encountered the opposing Heavenly Emperor, they would be in danger. All of this would have to depend on their luck. The vast Yellow Springs mountain was huge and boundless. It was as big as the 9 heavens regions of the Heaven realm combined. There were hundreds of large and small countries and forces. In addition, there were large areas of wilderness. Many wilderness areas were uninhabited, but there were also cursed lands. There was a huge lake. The lake water inside was pitch black and emitted shocking devil chi. A figure suddenly appeared in the area. It was Xian Yanqing. Xian Yanqing's lips curled into a smile. He took a step forward, walked into the lake, and disappeared. In another place, among the mountains, a mountain range suddenly split open. Gravel flew everywhere, and smoke and dust filled the air. When the smoke and dust settled, a huge tomb appeared in the direction where the mountain range split open. It was incomparably huge and emitted a vast pressure. A figure rushed out from the gravel. Ha ha ha, I knew it. There's a huge tomb here, and the treasures in this tomb are mine. The figure laughed loudly and rushed into the tomb. In another direction, there was a strange terrain. The ground here was filled with tunnels. These tunnels were connected like a beehive. 2 figures appeared at the entrance of one of the tunnels. These 2 figures were Lu Ming's 2 disciples, Lu Xiongxiong and Ouyang Moli. I didn't expect there to be a cursed land in this wilderness. Senior sister, should we go down and check it out? Ouyang Moli asked. The 2 of them were lucky. They did not expect to encounter it soon after entering Yellow Springs Mountain. Since we're here, Of course we should go in, Lu Xiong said. Whoosh! Whoosh! At this moment, a gust of wind suddenly blew in those beehive-like caves. A terrifying suction force gushed out. Oh no! Lu Xiong and Ouyang Moli wanted to escape, but it was too late. They were swept into the cave by this force. In other places, many people had fortuitous encounters and entered some mysterious places. The people of Yellow Springs Mountain could not enter these places. For example, Huang Ling, Long Chen, and the others met the top elites of the heavenly realm. They explored a few cursed lands with these elites. Of course, there were also those who were unlucky. They met the other tribes and were killed by them. Or, they were killed by the local elites of Yellow Springs Mountain. Of course, there were also those who were killed by the heavenly realm elites. For example, Lu Ming had killed many of the other tribes since he entered Yellow Springs Mountain. After Lu Ming kept all the treasures, he wandered around the main hall. There were several doors around the main hall. There were 2 doors. They were the doors that Lu Ming and the others had entered through. Lu Ming explored the rest. However, these doors led to the other side halls. There was nothing in those side halls. Soon, there was only 1 door left. Lu Ming had not explored it. Lu Ming walked in. The passageway led him to a small hall. The hall was completely empty, with only a single statue in it. Seeing this statue, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Because this statue was exactly the same as the one Lu Ming saw in the ruins of Fengming country. Moreover, this statue also emitted a rich sovereign's will. It was many times richer than the one in Fengming country. Could it be that there's such a statue in every cursed land? Lu Ming's eyes were burning with passion. The sovereign's will on the statue was more precious than anything to Lu Ming. It could help Lu Ming's understanding of the sovereign's path quickly deepen. Comprehend. Lu Ming sat cross-legged under the statue and began to comprehend. Lu Ming activated his sovereign's path and resonated with the statue. The rich sovereign's will on the statue enveloped Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming began to comprehend carefully. The will of the ruler realm on the sculpture was a lot stronger than Fengming's sculpture, thus it would take him a lot more time to comprehend it. It took Lu Ming 2 years to comprehend it. Chapter 2492. Over the past 2 years, Lu Ming had completely comprehended the will of the master on the statue. Lu Ming's understanding of the sovereign Dao had improved a lot. However, Lu Ming felt that he was still a little short of breaking through to the 5-star Great Emperor realm. Although the sovereign intent on this statue was very dense, even denser than the statue in Fengmingwa. However, as one's cultivation level increased, each breakthrough would be more difficult and the requirements would be higher. When the will of the ruler was fully comprehended, the statue began to crack, just like the statue in Fengmingwa. It was filled with cracks, and in the end, it exploded with a bang. It exploded. Lu Ming was filled with anticipation as he ran up to take a look. The statue in Fengmingwa had exploded. There was a fiery red fruit growing under the statue. After Lu Ming refined it, his physical body directly broke through. What would there be this time? There was nothing. When Lu Ming went up to take a look, he discovered that there was only a flat floor under the statue. There was nothing there. Lu Ming was unwilling to give up. He carefully searched the area but still found nothing. I was too greedy. Lu Ming rubbed his nose and smiled bitterly. It seemed that the fiery red fruit growing under the statue in Fengmingwa was purely coincidental. Moreover, the harvest this time was already very great. Lu Ming was satisfied. It has been more than 2 years. It's time to leave. Lu Ming smiled and then left this place. After arriving at the platform outside, Lu Ming's body changed rapidly with a thought. In the end, he turned into a purple-haired evil god tribe member with a 3rd eye on his forehead. Lu Ming swaggered out of this cursed land. Outside the cursed land, a group of Dragonians was still guarding there. His out. When they saw Lu Ming, the group of Dragonians became spirited. After all, it had been 2 years. There had been no movement in the cursed land. They had thought that all the evil god tribe members had died in there. How was it? What did you find inside? After Lu Ming came out, a group of Dragonians surrounded Lu Ming. "Everyone, we've encountered a troublesome situation inside. We don't have enough manpower, and another group of experts from my clan has arrived. I need to go and help them," Lu Ming said. "So that's how it is. Go then." Those Dragonians did not suspect anything and let Lu Ming leave. Lu Ming easily left this place, then found a hidden place, transformed into a dragonman, and swaggered to the capital of the Dragonman Kingdom. In the Draconid capital, Lu Ming began to collect large amounts of materials related to the Cursed Land. If there was a statue in every Cursed Land, it would be very useful to Lu Ming. He might be able to cultivate his Tao of Sovereign to an extremely high level in Yellow Springs Mountain. What Lu Ming lacked now was time. After all, Lu Ming had only cultivated for less than 200 years. For those heavenly emperors who had cultivated for hundreds of thousands or even millions of years, it was just a fraction of a fraction. If the foreign race's divine ancestor obtained a healing treasure during this trip to Yellow Springs Mountain, and the foreign race's divine ancestor and divine ancestor killer heart recovered from their injuries, then the final battle would be imminent. Lu Ming had to make the best use of his time to improve quickly before that. Lu Ming stayed in the capital of the Draconid Empire for 2 months. He flipped through a large number of ancient books, all of which were records of the Cursed Land. There were many Cursed Lands in Yellow Springs Mountain. Some were in important places, such as the capital of Fengming Kingdom and the capital of the Draconid Empire. These places were often guarded by the native living beings of Yellow Springs Mountain. As for the Cursed Lands in the wild, because they were too remote and the natives could not enter, no one cared about them. Lu Ming's target was these Cursed Lands in the wild. "Let's go to Yangming Mountain." After confirming his target, Lu Ming left the capital of the Draconid Empire. After traveling more than 100,000 miles, Lu Ming transformed into his true body and called out Heavenly Sovereign Six Sacred and the others from his small world. "Senior Six Sacred, I'm going to Yangming Mountain." Lu Ming told him his target. "We'll go with you," Heavenly Sovereign Six Sacred said. "Okay." Lu Ming nodded, and the group moved together toward Yangming Mountain. Yangming Mountain was very remote and located in the wilderness. There were very few people there, but there was a Cursed Lands, the Yangming Underground Palace. After flying for tens of millions of miles, the group arrived at the Yangming Underground Palace. But as soon as they entered, they were attacked. This underground palace had a kind of puppet covered in flames. It was very strong. The group broke through and entered. This underground palace should not have been plundered by anyone. They obtained a lot of good things, but compared to what Lu Ming had obtained in the Draconid Empire, this was considered little. And in the depths of this underground palace, Lu Ming saw another statue. Just what is the origin of this statue's owner? There's a statue in every Cursed Land. Could it be the owner of Yellow Springs Mountain? Lu Ming guessed. Moreover, this statue also had a strong sovereign aura. But compared to the statue in the Draconid Empire's Cursed Lands, it was not much different. Lu Ming spent some time to completely comprehend it. The statue also shattered, but there was still nothing underneath it. After that, they left the Yangming Underground Palace and went to the next Cursed Lands. In the following days, Lu Ming and the others went to various Cursed Lands in the wilderness. Some of them had gained something, but some of them were empty. They had clearly been plundered. But for Lu Ming, every Cursed Land was a land of treasure. The reason for that was because there was a statue in every Cursed Land. Heavenly Sovereign Six Saints and the others also knew that these statues were very useful to Lu Ming, so they waited patiently in every Cursed Land. Moreover, in some Cursed Lands, they also encountered foreign tribes and fought with them. But with Lu Ming's current battle strength, they naturally swept away those foreign tribes. Just like this, time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, 20 years had passed. In these 20 years, Lu Ming and the others explored no less than 20 Cursed Lands. Unfortunately, many of the statues in the Cursed Lands did not have a very strong sovereign aura. Lu Ming could easily comprehend them, but it did not improve Lu Ming's sovereign Tao by much. Even so, Lu Ming's cultivation base still improved, and he stepped into the 5-star Great Emperor realm. Lu Ming's strength also increased by a level. Now that Lu Ming unleashed his full strength, the combination of his sovereign Tao and physical body was enough to match a 6-star heavenly emperor. I still have to find some large cursed lands. Sitting cross-legged under a statue in one of the cursed lands, Lu Ming thought to himself. Over the years, Lu Ming had already figured out the pattern. In small cursed lands, the sovereign aura in the statues was thinner. Chapter 2493. However, most of the large cursed lands were in the hands of powerful factions. For example, those factions with invincible powerhouses guarding them. Also, the largest cursed land in the Yellow Springs Mountain was in the hands of the strongest faction in the Yellow Springs Mountain, the Yellow Springs Empire. Without a doubt, the Yellow Springs Empire was the ruler of the Yellow Springs world. It was also the only faction with an immortal overseeing it. Moreover, there was more than one immortal overseeing the entire Yellow Springs world. It could be said that all the factions in the Yellow Springs world were vassals of the Yellow Springs Empire. The Yellow Springs Empire. Thinking of the Yellow Springs Empire, Lu Ming's eyes flashed with anticipation. He had checked the ancient records before and knew that the largest cursed land in the Yellow Springs world was in the Yellow Springs Empire. Legend had it that there were fruits of life in the cursed land. No matter how serious the injury, it could be healed. Even if it was an immortal, it would be very effective. Moreover, there were other treasures in it. Lu Ming guessed that the ancestral dragon and the other tribe's divine ancestor would definitely go to the Yellow Springs Empire because only the fruits of life there could heal their injuries. However, that place was not somewhere he could go now. It would be a waste of time to go against the other tribe's divine ancestor. It was better to focus on improving his strength first. Lu Ming closed his eyes and comprehended the sovereign intent on the statue in front of him. The sovereign intent on the statue was very faint. Lu Ming spent less than a month to completely comprehend it. After searching for a while and finding nothing else, Lu Ming met up with Heavenly Sovereign 6 saints and headed outside. After leaving the ruins, they chose a direction and flew away. Wait. After flying for a while, Lu Ming suddenly spoke and stopped. The others also stopped. Something's wrong. This area is too quiet. Heavenly Sovereign 6 saints was very experienced and immediately felt that something was wrong. This area was completely silent. It was as if there were no living creatures, not even insects. Something was definitely wrong. At this moment, figures flashed in all directions and a large number of figures appeared, surrounding Lu Ming and the rest. Among these people, there were great emperors and heavenly emperors. They all emitted cold killing intent as they stared at Lu Ming and the others. Everyone, who are you? Why are you surrounding us? Lu Ming asked. The people who will kill you. A cold voice sounded, and 2 figures walked out from the crowd. Evil God race. Lu Ming, Heavenly Sovereign 6 saints, and the others narrowed their eyes when they saw the 2 of them. Lu Ming. When the 2 members of the evil god race turned their gazes toward Lu Ming, they emitted cold killing intent. Kill them. One of the members of the evil god race gave the order. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Those experts immediately moved, charging at Lu Ming and the others. Over 100 attacks were sent out, wanting to drown Lu Ming and the others. The strongest is a 5-star heavenly emperor. As soon as these people attacked, Lu Ming judged their strength. The strongest were 5-star heavenly emperors. There were only 2 people. The rest were all below 5-star heavenly emperors. Lu Ming summoned the divine 9-dragon cauldron. The 9 cauldrons floated in the surroundings, blocking all the attacks. Then, with a tremor, they blasted out in all directions. The power of the divine 9-dragon cauldron was extremely strong. How could these people block it? Terrifying power blasted out, and miserable screams rang out. These people exploded one by one. Even the 2 5-star heavenly emperors were the same. Their bodies exploded, and they died on the spot. The 2 members of the evil god race were even weaker. They were only 1-star heavenly emperors, and they were also killed in an instant. Lu Ming rushed over and collected all the storage rings. Let's go. Lu Ming said. The group quickly left this place and flew toward the north. However, along the way, their expressions were somewhat grave. Other than the two members of the evil god race, the others were obviously natives. Could it be that some major force was controlled by the evil god race, so they sent people to guard some cursed lands to hunt down the experts of the heaven realm? They guessed. They flew all the way. 2 days later, they arrived in the vicinity of another cursed land. However, in the vicinity of the cursed land, they saw a battle. A group of people was besieging more than a dozen heaven realm experts. Moreover, those heaven realm experts were clearly at a disadvantage. There were already 7 or 8 corpses on the ground. There were humans and divine beasts. And those who besieged the heaven realm experts were clearly natives. However, they saw a few members of the evil god race among them. Kill. Lu Ming and the others charged out without hesitation. Lu Ming was now controlling the divine 9-dragon cauldron, and he was equivalent to a peak heavenly emperor. There was no suspense in the battle. Lu Ming wiped out these people and a few members of the evil god race. Many thanks. Those dozen or so heaven realm experts were very excited after surviving a calamity. They thanked Lu Ming and the others. Everyone, what's going on? Lu Ming asked. We don't know either. They had just finished exploring this cursed land. After leaving the cursed land for a distance, they were besieged. A burly man said. The situation is the same. Lu Ming furrowed his brows. In the past 2 days, they had been rushing on their way. They had already left the territory of the previous faction and arrived at another faction. However, the actions of this faction were the same as the previous faction. Could it be that the surrounding major factions were all controlled by the evil god race? Or were they cooperating with the evil god race? Lu Ming had a bad premonition in his heart. Then, everyone gathered and left this place together. A day later, they arrived in the vicinity of a huge city. However, there were people checking the city gates around this city. Let's go over and take a look. Lu Ming and the others discussed. Then, they changed their appearances, restrained their auras, and walked toward a city gate. All of you, if you want to enter the city, you have to pass through this door. Do you understand? An ox-headed man opened his eyes wide and berated. Lu Ming discovered that outside the city gate, there was a pitch-black door. It was not big and was engraved with strange patterns. Everyone who entered the city had to pass through this door. Buzz. Suddenly, when a white-haired old man passed through that door emitted a bright light. The aura of the heaven realm, kill him, a cold shout rang out. Then, experts pounced out from all directions. So many experts. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. 2 5-star heavenly emperors and 1 6-star heavenly emperor pounced out. That white-haired old man shouted and retreated rapidly. However, it was already too late. Bang! Bang! A few attacks landed on the white-haired old man and killed him directly. Lu Ming and the others couldn't help but stop in their tracks. Damn it, it's the evil god race. Someone growled. However, he suppressed his voice and didn't spread it out. It's definitely the evil god race. The door they created can detect the heaven realm aura on us. Chapter 2494. A person's aura could be concealed, but the aura of the world was difficult to conceal. What was the aura of the world? For example, if one was born in the heaven realm or the primordial realm and cultivated in these two worlds for a long time, comprehending the laws of the two worlds and absorbing the origin energy of the two worlds, one would naturally have the aura of the two worlds. This kind of aura was contained in the essence of life and was difficult to conceal or remove. This was the essence of the world. After that old man entered that door, his aura of the heaven realm was detected and he was killed. Who would specifically search for living beings of the heaven realm? It must be the evil god race. Obviously, the evil god race had created such a door. Anyone who wanted to enter the city would be detected with the aura of the heaven realm. The people of the evil god realm or the Yellow Springs Mountain did not have the aura of the heaven realm. Let's go. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to everyone and then silently turned to leave. The group left this place. 2 days later, They arrived at another large city. However, they discovered that this large city was also being investigated. There was also a door that could detect the aura of people of the heaven realm. They left silently. In the next half a month, they traveled a long distance, passing through 5 or 6 factions and 7 or 8 large cities. However, they were all the same. All the factions and cities were being investigated. What's going on? Could it be that all the powerful factions are controlled by the evil god race? Someone growled, his eyes turning red. Lu Ming and the others also had grave expressions. The premonition in their hearts was getting stronger and stronger. This was troublesome. Looking at the current situation, those major factions seemed to be controlled by the evil god race. If this continued, the living beings of the heaven realm would lose many experts. Moreover, they could not enter some of the important cursed lands. They were all occupied by the evil god race. What should we do now? Someone asked. If they went to those cursed lands, they would be ambushed by the enemy. Moreover, they could not enter some of the important cities. Now, where should they go? To the Yellow Springs Empire, Lu Ming said. Yellow Springs Empire? The others' expressions changed. The Yellow Springs Empire was the strongest faction in the Yellow Springs world. There was more than one deity overseeing it, and there were many experts under it. Furthermore, the Yellow Springs Empire was the largest cursed land. Most likely, the ancestral dragon and the sacred ancestor would rush there. They weren't strong enough to go to the Yellow Springs Empire. Right, let's go to the Yellow Springs Empire. I keep feeling that something happened to the Yellow Springs Empire. Otherwise, why would all the major factions in the surroundings listen to the evil god race's orders? Lu Ming frowned. All right, let's go. All right. The others nodded. Immediately, they flew in the direction of the Yellow Springs Empire. They flew to remote places and did not pass by those big cities. Boom. Boom. After flying for a few days, they suddenly heard a violent explosion in front of them. Clang. A terrifying collision sound rang out. They saw a spear shoot up into the sky as if it was going to pierce through the heavens. At the same time, a huge battle axe appeared, crossing the sky and colliding with the spear. Heaven and earth were shattered. Even though they were very far away, they were still able to sense the terrifying oppressive might. This is a battle between peak heavenly emperors. The expressions of Heavenly Venerate 6 saints and the others changed drastically. Moo. At this moment, the roar of a bull reverberated between heaven and earth. Heaven and earth shook, and many mountains directly exploded. Titan Longhorn Bull! Lu Ming exclaimed. Lu Ming would never mishear the voice of the Titan Longhorn Bull. He had heard it several times. Obviously, the Titan Longhorn Bull and the others had encountered a strong enemy. Let's go. Without any hesitation, Lu Ming flew forward. Heavenly Venerate 6 saints and the others also flew forward. After flying for a distance, they finally saw the scene in front. Lu Ming saw the Titan Longhorn Bull and the 9 lives demonic silkworm. On the Heaven Realms side, there were a total of more than 50 people. However, they were besieged by a group of people. Among them, there were Evil God Race and Yellow Springs Mountain native experts. There were more than 100 people, double the number of the Heaven Realms side. On the Heaven Realms side, they were completely focused on defense. On the Heaven Realms side, the Titan Longhorn Bull and the 9 lives demonic silkworm were not the strongest. They were both seriously injured and only had the combat strength of a 5-star Heavenly Emperor and a 6-star Heavenly Emperor respectively. On the Heaven Realms side, there was a burly man wearing battle armor and holding a spear. His combat strength was unparalleled. He was a peak Heavenly Emperor. However, the other party also had a peak Heavenly Emperor. Dueler. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. The other party's peak Heavenly Emperor was actually Dueler, the jeweler who guarded the eternal cage in the evil god realm back then. He and the burly man wearing battle armor from the Heaven Realm were locked in a fierce battle. However, the others from the Heaven Realm were at a disadvantage. Because on the evil god race's side, there were a total of 9 6-star Heavenly Emperors. This level of expert was completely above the Heaven Realm's side. The Titan Longhorn Bull, 9 lives demonic silkworm, and the other experts from the Heaven Realm defended with all their might, but they were still at a disadvantage. If this continued, defeat was only a matter of time. Charge, charge out. The Titan Longhorn Bull roared loudly, transforming into his true form. Bull horns were like sharp battle blades as he charged forward with all his might. But his injuries back then were too severe. Now, he only had the cultivation of a 5-star Heavenly Emperor. Being beaten back repeatedly by a 6-star Heavenly Emperor from the other party, one move. The other party had too many experts. They could not charge out at all. Titan Longhorn Bull, 9 lives demonic silkworm, you guys were lucky enough to survive the ancient war. This time, I'll send you all on your way completely. Attack with all your might and kill them as soon as possible, Dula said coldly. The others' attacks became even more berserk. And at this time, Lu Ming and the rest also rushed over. Many people's gazes involuntarily looked towards Lu Ming and the rest. Lu Ming, it's you. After seeing Lu Ming, Dula let out an angry roar. Cold killing intent seemed to want to freeze heaven and earth. Back then, he guarded the eternal cage, but Lu Ming escaped with a group of people. This made him receive the punishment of the evil god race's upper echelons. Not just that, he was even mocked by the other members of the evil god race. One had to know, the eternal cage, since ancient times, no one had escaped. But during the period when he, Dula, was guarding it, someone escaped. Furthermore, so many experts even escaped. All of this was Lu Ming. It was all Lu Ming's fault. Dula regarded this as extraordinary shame and humiliation, thinking about how to find Lu Ming to settle the score every day. Seeing Lu Ming at this moment, his eyes were truly exceptionally red with envy. But when the Titan Longhorn Bull, 9 lives demonic silkworm and the rest saw Lu Ming, their expressions changed drastically. Lu Ming, quickly leave. The Titan Longhorn Bull roared loudly. The other party had too many experts. Lu Ming's current cultivation was still weak. Rushing up was simply courting death. Haha, want to leave now? It's too late. Let me send him on his way. A 6-star Heavenly Emperor Realm evil god race member laughed loudly and directly charged towards Lu Ming. Kill. Lu Ming did not retreat in the slightest, directly controlling the divine 9-dragon cauldron to blast toward the other party. Bang. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.